It's when I see some of these religious fundamentalists saying that they've told their 5-year-old children that if they turn out gay, they will burn in hell. That, to me, is child abuse. That's nothing to...
You know, and then I say, well, why do you pray then? Because it makes me feel good. So they sort of know. I think they sort of know, but they don't want to know.
In fact, if it, you know, did make you a kinder person, if you only did good things in his name, then great, you know, but there's the rub. It's when I see some of these religious fundamentalists saying that they've told their 5-year-old children that if they turn out gay, they will burn in hell. That, to me, is child abuse. That's nothing to do with religion or spirituality. That's child abuse. So that's why I'm passionate when it comes to that.
What do you think of the Republican nomination race, given that some of the candidates clearly position themselves quite deliberately to say anti-gay marriage, all that kind of thing, based on their religious beliefs?
Well, we're back to offence, aren't we? Just because they're offended by someone being gay, it doesn't mean they're right. You know, it's a strange thing that comes out of being gay is a choice. No, being gay isn't a choice. You know, I want to go, well, go, you try it then. If it's a choice, have a go. See how much you like it, you know.
As someone who's come to America and been the personification of the kind of classic old American dream of, you know, they take anybody from anywhere and anyone can make it big here. They don't really care what else you've done anywhere else. It's like...
I came fat with terrible teeth.
You was a chubby loser. And now look at you.
British or huddled masses.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at him, he's huddled. But no, America's fantastic. It is the land of opportunity. And, there's, you know, bits of both cultures that I love and hate. And the wonderful thing about being between England and America, they are both land of freedom, and criticise them all you want, but know that you're in a place that allows you to criticise it, and that's lucky, you know, and that's great, and that should be cherished. And freedom of speech for me is one of the most important things that you know, discovered, and I'd fight for the right of it. And even though I don't believe in God, and I don't believe, you know, unlike most religions, I treat all religions the same. I think they're all wrong, not morally wrong, but I don't think there is or could be a God. But if someone said, we're banning religion, I'd march to not have it banned, because it's your right to believe what you want, and it's your right to be wrong, and I'll fight for that right.
Ricky Gervais is exposing a contradiction people don't like to face. Every Christian already rejects thousands of gods without hesitation. Zeus, Thor, all of them. The only difference is atheists apply that same standard one step further. So why is that suddenly offensive? And when religion starts telling a 5-year-old they'll burn forever for being gay, that's not morality, it's fear. The American Psychological Association has repeatedly found that LGBTQ youth in rejecting religious environments face much higher risks of depression and suicide. That's real-world harm tied directly to belief. Even the Bible isn't consistent. The same section in Leviticus that condemns homosexuality also bans eating shellfish and wearing mixed fabrics. Those rules get ignored, but others are still used to judge people.
There are some people who say that to explain existence, to explain life, to explain that we are, as they would put it rather demeaningly, a bundle of chemicals, somehow makes life not worth living.
Why
indeed?
I don't understand it.
No.
I mean,
it's wonderful even if you can explain it. It's even more wonderful if you can explain it.
There's a magic there. There's a magic to consciousness, introspection, free will.
And the fact that you can say that it's done by nerve impulses speeding around the brain doesn't diminish it in any way.
No, of course
It's still
not.
wonderful.
Of course not.
Actually, I think it's more wonderful.
I think it is, because it's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, magic does it for you. Magic goes, it's magic, you know.
It's amazing that this conscious being, this thinking being that is me, and that thinking being that is you, is actually produced by millions of nerve impulses whizzing around inside our brain. I mean, that is a magical thought.
It's great, isn't it? We're in each other's dream.
Yes.
And even if free will is an illusion, it makes no difference. It makes no difference to us.
I feel as though I have free will, even if I don't.
Of course. And you know, I'd say determinism is sound, but it's when they start making these these leaps that then we can't be responsible for our own actions. Well, you've still got to lock someone up if they're going around murdering people to protect the innocent.
It wasn't me did the murder, my lad, it was my neurons.
Of course,
my genes.
yeah, it doesn't work. Well, there's obviously a little bit of that creeping into everything, responsibility, you know, being adult about things. But yeah, it doesn't change a thing. I feel that I make my own choices, and if I don't, I certainly feel like I'm choosing. So yeah, it's not even worth worrying about. But yeah, it's this thing that takes the art out of something, or the humanity, or the beauty. Why? Why does it? It's strange, and the way they think it's all too good, it's all too perfect. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Why? Well, you haven't seen the process, you know. There's a wonderful thing about Douglas Adams that goes against the intelligent design theory. It's a puddle.
Oh, the puddle, yes.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you tell the story. I mean,
Well, it's just that a puddle is pondering, and it says, "I must have been designed because I fit this hole perfectly."
Yes.
Which
right.
is just beautiful. What a beautiful metaphor.
Yes.
For trying to explain evolution and everything. I also, it's funny as well because they move the goalposts. You cannot win an argument with someone who believes in God. Certainly, who believes in an interventionist God. It's impossible. Well, you've won in the sense that you've tried your best and you think you're right, and they're deluded, but they go away, you know, just as strong. You know I mean, their best argument, ironically, is that it's just faith.
Pretty pathetic, really, isn't it?
Well, it is pathetic, but they mustn't ever engage in logic. You know, it's like top trumps. They mustn't pick logic on their cards. They've got to go faith 100%, and then you go, yeah, sorry, you win. You know, that's the only way they're going to win this top trumps. They've got to keep away. Some embrace science. Some say God started the Big Bang. He invented the Big Bang, and he let it all happen. It was programmed, but now he's not an interventionist God. And I say, well, so you believe in evolution? Yeah, but he did all that. Fine. But then he gave man free will. So then it's not his fault anymore. It's like there's evil, there's bad. He had to go with the flood, but he thought, I've tried once. Let him get on with it. I'm not, no. I'll be in the study, forget it. You know. And then I say, well, why do you pray then? Because it makes me feel good. So they sort of know. I think they sort of know, but they don't want to know.
When Gervais talks with Richard Dawkins, the argument gets even clearer. People say if we're just biology, neurons firing in the brain, then life loses meaning. That makes no sense. Neuroscience shows consciousness comes from about 86 billion neurons interacting. That doesn't make life empty. It makes it incredibly complex and real. Then there's the design argument. Dawkins uses the puddle analogy, thinking the world was made perfectly for us is backwards. Evolution shows we adapted to our environment over millions of years. There's no evidence of intentional design, just natural selection. And this is where religious arguments fall apart. When logic and evidence push back, the answer becomes faith. But faith is belief without evidence. That's not a defense. It's avoiding the question. Even within Christianity, the logic breaks down. If God doesn't intervene, prayer changes nothing. If he does, then you still have to explain suffering, disease, and natural disasters.
No, I'm just being honest, you know. I mean, I can't see there could be a God, you know. I mean, spirituality and religion are two different things, don't forget, you know. I can't make myself believe something I don't believe. I wish there was a God, you know, and I wish he was all the things people said he was, all powerful and kind and all that. But by definition, the impossibility is overwhelming to me. And then there's religions which use that truth for their own personal gain, and that's something else, and that's abhorrent and disgusting. Religious fascism is the only thing apart from animal cruelty that gets my blood boiling. But people believing in God doesn't worry me at all. You know, I live by Christian values, I suppose. You know, I live by, or any religious values that preaches forgiveness and, you know, do as you would be done by, and, you know, I just do it for different reasons. I do it because I think this is my only time on earth, and I should enjoy it and be part of it and celebrate it and be nice to everyone, because we're animals who need to be loved and lead a decent life. If you believe in God and that gets you through and it makes you a nicer person, then so be it. But I don't believe. And I feel sometimes that atheists, and I am atheist, not agnostic. One of the few things I'm sure of in life. I think they get a bad press that we take the art out of beauty and the world, which is not true. The fact that, you know, the Earth is 4.6 billion years old, and, you know, there are 4 million species of animal, and they've evolved by accident, is, I think, more beautiful. I think religion's greatest trick wasn't convincing some people that there was a God who was all-powerful. It was convincing everyone else that you couldn't ridicule that idea. It's when you get them. I think there'd be more atheists and less faithful if you weren't allowed to teach anything, you weren't allowed to mention any gods or any beliefs or atheism, right, until they were 20. I think we'd see a different pattern. The human brain, when it's young, is a sponge. It has to be. It has to take in all the information. It has to trust its parents, its elders, to survive. Without question, don't touch the fire. Why not? Don't go near don't go near the wolf. Don't touch that spider with a red bit. Don't touch that. Why not? Just don't. There is a God. What? There is a God. And if you're bad, you go to hell. Okay? And if that's constantly confirmed, like all the other things, wolves eat you, black widows kill you, fires burn you, if it's given that same level of credence and truth, you're never going to get over it. It's going to be a lot harder to undo that. I think the myths came up, maybe, you know, often as a stopgap to knowledge until we find out more. You know, the Earth is flat. No, we've proved now. Okay, the Earth's not flat. We were wrong. Okay, but that's not personal. You don't take that personally. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your afterlife. You know, and so they often want to hold on to that, right? But only because of the way they've been conditioned. We know it's fun to tell children there's a Santa Claus, and there's fairies at the bottom of the garden, and all these cute things. It's cute till they're 7 or 8. If they're 34, it's a bit embarrassing socially. This is my son. What's he doing? He's looking for fairies. Is he? Okay, we better leave. If you're born in India, you're probably a Hindu. If you're born in America, you're probably a Christian. If you're born in Pakistan, you're probably a Muslim. That's a coincidence, isn't it? That you're always born into the right God. Always. Isn't that lucky? I was born under the right God. All those others are going to hell. But I was born into the right religion. I'm going to heaven. It's strange that we hold on to these sort of medieval beliefs. You know, where did the universe come from? God made it. Which doesn't solve the problem for me. Because we straight away say, well, who made God? And if they say, well, he's always been around, well, let's just say the universe has then. Let's just cut out the middleman. It saves time.
we're all born atheist, you know, and then that gets changed or enhanced. I mean, there shouldn't even be a word for atheism. It shouldn't exist. Shouldn't need it. There's not a word for not believing in fairies, you know? And if people didn't keep inventing these weird, impossible deities, we wouldn't have to go around denying them. It's a matter of degrees. If you go around feeling good because whatever life throws at you, it'll all be okay in heaven, that's great. Doesn't affect anyone. Fine. If you pray that you'll do well at work and then you try hard and do well at work and you believe it was the praying, fine. You know, we know it wasn't. We know the praying was irrelevant. We know praying without actually doing anything doesn't do anything. Praying and then working towards something. Praying to me is like making a list. That's all it does. It may even motivate you. It may even, you know, it's getting your thoughts clear. Thinking there's someone hearing you and changing stuff, that's something else. But again, it's still not harmful. But if you start doing crazy stuff because God's telling you to, that affects me. I've got to stop you there. And if someone goes around saying there is a God and bad people go to hell, fine, doesn't affect me. If they go around saying there is a God and bad people go to hell, I'm going to help God send them to hell by stoning them to death. Whoa, he doesn't need your help. He's all powerful. Chill out. God's got this one.
He says he can't force himself to believe, and that matters. Belief isn't a choice you can switch on. It has to be supported by evidence, and there isn't any solid, testable evidence for a God. Science gives a different picture. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old, Earth about 4.5 billion, and life evolved through natural selection, not design. That's backed by genetics, fossils, and observable evolution in real time. You don't need a supernatural explanation when a natural one already works. Then there's the conditioning part. Psychology shows children accept authority as truth for survival. If you're told something repeatedly as a child, like hell or a specific religion, it sticks. That's why religion often lines up with geography. Born in India, likely Hindu. In the US, likely Christian. That's not truth, it's exposure. Even the Bible reflects human influence. In Matthew 7:1, it says, "Judge not," yet other passages are used to justify judgment and punishment. That inconsistency shows interpretation, not divine clarity. What do you think? Does belief hold up when you really question it, or does it fall apart under evidence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything. If you liked this breakdown, we've already covered the earlier part of this conversation. Go check that out next. It connects everything together. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.